What if the greatest pyramids on Earth weren't in Egypt? Hidden deep within the jungles of Central and South America lie massive, ancient structures larger than Giza, older than the Incas, and almost entirely forgotten. This is the story of the pyramids of America and the civilizations history refused to remember. When we hear the word pyramid, most of us immediately think of Egypt, the iconic pyramids of Giza standing proud against the desert sands. But what if I told you that pyramids exist all over the world, from the step pyramids of Saqqara to the hidden mounds of China, from Indonesia's Gunung Padang to the Nubian pyramids of Sudan? The pyramid is a global phenomenon. Some were tombs, others temples, many aligned precisely with astronomical events, solstices, equinoxes, even constellations. And yet, the idea that only Egypt mastered the pyramid design still dominates mainstream thinking. But here's the twist. Across the vast lands of the Americas, from the plains of North America to the dense jungles of the Amazon, lie massive, ancient pyramid structures that rival, or even surpass, those in the Old World. Why don't we learn about them in school? Why are they not in the textbooks? These forgotten pyramids are not just historical anomalies. They could be the key to rewriting human history. Just across the Mississippi River from modern-day St. Louis lies the remnants of an ancient metropolis few people outside archaeology have ever heard of, Cahokia at its peak around 1050 to 1200 AD. Cahokia covered more than 6 square miles and supported over 20,000 residents. Larger than London at the time, but what made Cahokia so special was its architectural marvels, over 120 mounds, most of which were constructed in pyramid-like shapes. The centerpiece was Monk's Mound, a massive terraced earthen pyramid nearly 100 feet tall and covering 14 acres, larger in base area than the Great Pyramid of Giza, and this wasn't random construction. The entire city was built with astronomical precision. Some mounds aligned with solar solstices, equinoxes, and lunar events similar to Stonehenge or the Mayan observatories. Cahokia had residential zones, ceremonial plazas, trade networks that stretched from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, and sophisticated urban planning. And yet, just a century or two after its golden age, Cahokia was abandoned. No written records, no massive war, no epidemic. It simply vanished. Why? Mainstream archaeology still doesn't have a definitive answer. Climate change, social unrest, resource depletion, all are theories, but none fully explain how such an advanced city could rise and fall, all before Columbus ever stepped foot in the New World. South of the U.S. border lies a region that once hosted some of the most impressive pyramid builders the world has ever known, the civilizations of Mesoamerica. Long before the rise of the Aztecs, there was Teotihuacan, a massive city that, at its peak around 100 to 600 AD, housed over 125,000 people. Its central feature, the Pyramid of the Sun, one of the largest pyramids in the world, standing 66 meters tall with a base almost equal to that of the Great Pyramid of Giza, but even more fascinating is its layout. Teotihuacan was built with a grid-like urban plan, and its central Avenue of the Dead aligns with astronomical points, notably the Pleiades star cluster. Not far away is Cholula, often overlooked but home to the largest pyramid by volume on Earth, the Great Pyramid of Cholula. It's so massive that the Spanish mistook it for a natural hill and built a church right on top. These pyramids were not only temples but also centers of power, astronomy, and social organization. Their construction required precise knowledge. of engineering, mathematics, and the cosmos, suggesting an intellectual depth often underestimated by modern historians. Deep within the jungles of Central America lies a civilization whose pyramid-building skills were unmatched. The Maya. At its height, the Mayan world stretched across modern-day Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Their cities were adorned with massive pyramids, some rising above the tree line like stone mountains in a sea of green. Take El Mirador, often called the cradle of Maya civilization. This pre-classic city, hidden for centuries, holds La Danta, a pyramid larger in volume than even the Great Pyramid of Giza or Tikal, with towering structures used as astronomical observatories and ceremonial hubs, each aligned with solstices and planetary movements. The Mayans didn't just build pyramids, they encoded them with time. Their architecture reflected their calendar systems, mathematics, and deep cosmology. Some scholars even argue that certain pyramid staircases represent exact calendar counts, a stone codex embedded in architecture. So why have so many of these incredible structures remained unknown for centuries? The answer lies in the jungle. After the fall of the Maya, the forest reclaimed their cities, burying monuments under thick vegetation. It wasn't until recent LIDAR technology revealed hundreds, possibly thousands, of lost structures that the true scale of the Mayan world began to re-emerge. When we think of pyramids, we rarely think of North America. But along the Mississippi River once thrived a civilization of pyramid builders. The Mississippian culture. The crown jewel of this civilization was Cahokia, located near present-day St. Louis. At its peak around 1050 to 1200 AD, Cahokia was home to over 20,000 people, larger than London at the time. Its centerpiece, Monk's Mound, rises over 30 meters and covers more ground than the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was constructed using millions of baskets of earth, layered with precision to form platforms aligned to solar and lunar events, and Cahokia wasn't alone. Across the southeastern United States, hundreds of mound sites were built, from Etowah to Moundville, forming a network of sacred, ceremonial, and astronomical structures. But why don't we learn about them? Because these pyramids weren't made of stone but earth, and unlike Egypt or Mesoamerica, many were flattened, plowed, or built over during colonial expansion. They were erased not by time, but by policy. Yet, with new archaeological techniques and a growing interest in indigenous histories, Cahokia and the mound builders are finally reclaiming their place as pyramid architects of America. Across the Americas, a strange pattern begins to emerge, one that defies coincidence. Many of these pyramids, from Teotihuacan to Cahokia, share geometric similarities, including alignment to cardinal directions, golden ratios, and complex calendrical encoding. Even more curious, some appear to align with each other, as if part of a vast terrestrial grid, a forgotten network of sacred geometry spanning continents. Take this, the Great Pyramid of Cholula in Mexico, Monk's Mound in the US, and pyramids in Guatemala all lie roughly along the 30-33 latitude corridor, a band also shared with ancient Egyptian and Mesopotamian sites. Why? Some researchers believe these sites mark geomagnetic hotspots or ley lines, zones of Earth energy known to ancient civilizations. Others suggest a lost source of advanced knowledge, a shared legacy from a prehistoric seafaring civilization that once mapped the Earth with extraordinary precision. Skeptical. Consider this, many indigenous oral traditions across the Americas speak of sky people, star brothers, or teachers from the sea. Could these stories be distorted? Echoes of a shared origin. Deep within the dense jungles of Central and South America, entire cities still lie buried, hidden beneath centuries of vegetation. These are not myths, they're being rediscovered by LIDAR, a revolutionary laser scanning technology that penetrates the forest canopy to reveal ancient ruins below. In Guatemala, LIDAR uncovered over 60,000 unknown structures around the Mayan city of Tikal, including pyramids, causeways, and vast urban complexes, suggesting a population of millions, far beyond what historians once believed. In Honduras, the legendary White City, long considered a myth, has yielded stone pyramids and ceremonial platforms, now partially unearthed in the Mesquite rainforest. And these discoveries may only scratch the surface. Many of these pyramids are deliberately aligned to celestial bodies, following solstices, equinoxes, and Venus cycles, a clear sign of astronomical sophistication. But they also suggest something more, a common cultural blueprint, possibly shared across ancient American civilizations. Could these jungle-covered pyramids connect to a larger, unified story, one of forgotten empires, lost sciences, and an ancient world we've barely begun to map? But what has amazed archaeologists and theorists even more is the precision and engineering of these pyramids, despite being hidden in one of the harshest environments on the planet. LIDAR topographic models have revealed elaborate urban grids, straight lines, embankments, geometric pools, and pyramids built along astronomical axes. Some, like El Mirador, Guatemala, or La Danta, are larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, yet are overlooked in textbooks. The big question is, who built these giant structures, and why did they mysteriously disappear? Many mainstream scientists believe that these structures were built by the pre-classic Maya civilization. However, the construction dates are thousands of years earlier than documented. Some structures may even date back to the pre-Maya or pre-Olmec periods. In addition, in many archaeological sites, signs of layering suggest that older structures were present before they were improved by later civilizations. So could the early works have originated from a fourth, unrecorded civilization? Some unorthodox researchers, such as Graham Hancock, David Hatcher Childress, or Praveen Mohan, hypothesize that these are the remains of a lost civilization which may have existed before the Great Flood, which is passed down orally in many cultures. Imagine this: if some advanced civilization had once thrived deep in the Amazon or Central America, built massive structures, and had profound astronomical knowledge, and then been wiped out by a major climatic or geological event. Would what remained under the jungle be just the tip of the iceberg? In addition, mysterious artifacts also make the story more confusing. The Olmec's colossal human faces with Asian, African, and even Caucasian features challenge the theory of cultural isolation. Engravings depicting ships, meteorites, celestial bodies, maybe memories of ancient natural disasters. And indigenous myths tell of gods from the sky who taught the indigenous people how to build and observe the sky. Finally, could it be that pyramids are still buried undiscovered, underground or under tree roots, waiting to be told? What if the pyramids of America aren't just ruins, but messages? Messages encoded in stone, earth, and alignment, waiting to be read not just with tools, but with new perspectives. They challenge our assumptions about who was primitive, who was advanced, and how knowledge travels across oceans and time. What we see is the fragment of a global phenomenon, cultures separated by thousands of miles, yet building with similar forms, mathematics, and mythologies. Either this is coincidence, or something deeper connects them. Today, satellite imagery, 3D scanning, and indigenous oral histories are rewriting what textbooks once ignored. And perhaps the question is no longer did advanced civilizations exist in ancient America, but rather, why were they forgotten? Maybe the real purpose of these pyramids was not just ceremony or power, but memory, to encode the truth of a shared human past before it was erased. Assuming that these great structures existed before the officially recognized civilizations, what if we began to accept that human history is not linear, but rather a cycle of rise and fall? The American pyramids, though forgotten, may be the clearest physical evidence for that theory. They challenge many basic concepts in modern archaeology. Why did different civilizations around the world, Egypt, Mesopotamia, China, and now the Americas, all build pyramids at the same time? Is there some common source of knowledge that once spread across the globe? Some scholars call this the evolutionary parallel effect, but a growing body of data suggests that there may have been an ancient system of connections, albeit faint traces, ancient maps, astronomy, architecture, and farming knowledge. For example, Piri Reis ancient map shows that America may have been accurately mapped before Columbus arrived. Some pyramid diagrams and ley lines suggest global connections between energy points. Pyramid structures have always been associated with sound and magnetic resonance. In some models, pyramids can even amplify energy like resonators. If this hypothesis is correct, we may be looking in the wrong direction in understanding history. By trying to describe ancient civilizations as primitive societies, instead, try thinking like this. Ancient pyramids in the Americas may have been centers of knowledge, like ancient computers storing astronomical, energy, and weather information. They may have been used to calibrate crops, forecast weather, even connect with celestial bodies, or they are a form of legacy of a civilization that has been erased from collective memory but has left behind physical clues. So, this video is more than just an archaeological story. It's a call to ask big questions about human history. History is written by the winners, so what have the losers left us, other than stones covered by time? What other megastructures lie beneath the jungles and deserts waiting to be uncovered? If these pyramids are real, what else have we missed? Subscribe for the next episode: Ancient Giants, Myth, Hoax, or Suppressed Truth.